Hi all, I'd just like to say first of all thanks for everyone who subscribed to my channel, because I've hit over 1,000 subs, which I didn't even realise because I don't take much notice of that, you know, subs and stuff like that, but yeah, thanks anyway, really appreciate it. Just a quick video, well, sort of a bit of a how-to on a DCC install a retro fit out on the fantastic Fleischmann Pendolino, which looks like that, which tilts on corners. This is the analog 1995 version, which I picked up, absolutely mint, never used in the box. I couldn't resist it, got it at a good price, so then proceeded to do the DCC install, which was, from my point of view, very tricky, because I've never done one of these motors before, and I've not got a lot of knowledge on doing this sort of stuff, so I thought I'd give it a go. It took me ages to do it, with a bit of help from one of my friends as well, who's an he's not an electronics engineer, but he's an advanced electrician, so he sort of helped me out halfway through this as well. So, what I did, I put the 8-pin interface on this, and I'll show you exactly how I did it in a minute, and I put the lighting kit on as well, which is controllable on the digital chip, and because it's not got electric conductive couplings to link it to the next one, the dummy car, I've had to install a digital function only decoder on this to control the lighting, directional lighting and the interior lighting. So it all works, I've tested it out. So yeah, I've got the option on this, because I've got the interface here, 8-pin, I've got the option to put sound on that at a later date. So the first thing I did was desolder the choke, took that off, you don't need it. Next thing I did, from the 8-pin harness, standard harness, the orange wire goes here on the left hand side of the motor, and the grey wire goes here. Excuse my soldering, it's not brilliant, I'm not an electronics expert, but it works anyway. Then the blue wire, which comes out from the rear of the bogie, which then goes to one of the front cab bulbs here. You've got to cut that. When you cut it, you wire the yellow wire to the blue wire, which then goes to the bulb at the front of the cab, and the other blue wire you wire the red one to, which goes goes to the harness as well. So your red wire goes to the blue wire, which goes to the rear pickup on the rear bogie. The yellow wire from the harness goes to the blue wire again, but to the front of the cab where the bulb is. That's how I did it, that part. Yeah, so next was the black wire, which comes from the rear bogie pickup, which is this one. Cut that. Obviously that went to the front bulb for the front lighting, cab lighting. So cut that. Carry on with that black wire to the front lighting, but add another cable on and send it to the earth it out on the chassis. So I've got two joins there. One carries on going to the front of the cab around here, and the other one earths to the chassis, which I'll show. Yeah, so to make the directional lighting work, you've got to desolder this blue wire, which was here in the factory. You've got to desolder it and connect it to there, and then you've got to move the black wire, which was connected to the earth on the chassis. You've got to desolder that and connect it to this terminal here, and then my other black wire, which I was talking about before, where you earth it onto this lug here, which connects to the screw, which then connects to the chassis. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone, but this is how I did it. Right, and to install the lighting, the analog lighting, what I did was connect the grey wire for this Pendolino unit to the green wire, which is auxiliary 1. Green wire straight in there, and blue wire to the earth on the other side. But what you got to do is cut off this continuation strip. You want that to be isolated then from the earth, from the chassis. So you cut that off somewhere around here for it to work on function auxiliary 1. So that's pretty straightforward. And then basically you just put it all back best you can. But I've got the option to put a sound speaker here if I want. Well, I'll just probably leave it as it is for now. Add some passengers. What's easy about this model is that the bodies are very easy to get on and off on this model. It's just got plenty of space in there. You just got to take off the front fairing underneath here to get access to the electrics on the lights. Yeah, so on the dummy car I've just installed a function decoder to operate the lighting and internal coach lighting. Could probably just use a normal decoder, but I've used a genuine ESU function decoder, and I've sat it on top of the bogie like that, so it can just spin around. It keeps all the wires out of the way. I've secured it using bath fixing tape, which I've shown in the past. So on the dummy car you've got your blue wire, which goes the other way around. The blue wire goes to the sort of reddish coloured terminal directly onto it there. The black wire, which was connected to here, got to desolder that and bring the black wire across to the other side to here. But I've just extended it with a brown wire because I didn't have any black. And then the other earth from the chassis interface, which I mentioned before, then connects to this earth terminal here next to the screw, and that will make the lighting work on a dummy coach, as long as you've got it on the same address as the drive car, which that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, and again I've just cut the feed from the earth on the lighting kit. Just cut it there. Blue wire, so that side, common pole, blue, and the green wire, which is auxiliary 1, goes to the other side, which is the greyer wire. There's already a wire on this kit. When you get it, you just snip it and attach it to the green wire, which is there. You can see it's easy enough to do. Right, I'll just put it all back together and just show it. I hope I've not confused anyone, but I just wanted to basically show roughly how I've done it. Yeah, so there we have it. It's on the test track. So decoder 1 in the main drive unit has got to be on the same address as the function decoder in the dummy car for the lighting to work as one switch. So there's the lighting, the light bulbs. So you can see the changeover. So that's perfect. Without a digital coupling, that's what you got to do. Install a function decoder. Lighting. So that's two decoders working on one address for lighting. So yeah, I've just got to do a test run round the circuit of my layout, because this is a special tilting chassis, so make sure these wires are all nice and tidy and they're not catching So one of the finishing touches is putting bodies back on, and before I do that I'm just going to add one of these drivers in the cabs. Nice little seat there, chuck his case in his the other end of the cab, so I've got a driver in each end, and then probably add some passengers in to the main carriages at some point, because I've run out of seated passengers. And then we have the option for sound in the future. Yeah, and of course what I always recommend is copy decks. For sticking in figures, it's great because it won't melt the plastics and it's easy to reposition them again, it just peels off. Just one small dab like that. Careful, just... oh, he's fell out. Well, I'll drop him into position. Best to use a little wooden stick, like a end of a skewer stick. This in a real pain, this one. There we go. He's in there. So all he needs now is his work bag. One word of warning when you're taking out cabs is not to be very careful not to break the light prisms if they've got light prisms for lighting, because if they snap or crack, it disables the light, and it's a new part order. Yeah, I also recommend just using tweezers for getting really fiddly parts on like that bag. That's all ready to go. Yeah, so I'm just testing it out, adjusting some of the CVs, because it's an old decoder, which is a lock pilot basic. Quite an old program, and you need the old software for this, to adjust the old CVs on the motor. And as it's an old motor, and it's never been used, it needs running in. On a rolling road, so just give it a bit of an oil. Not been used since, well, tested since 95 probably, 1995. There's the programmer decoder tester. That's linked into the decoder programmer, and then that goes into the computer. Right, let's just power up. Well, there we go. It's not too bright. You can adjust that right down on the CVs, and the main lighting I've just toned it down a little bit, not too bright. That's it. Now I can go on the track and do its runs around this layout. Yeah, the only other modification I've done is on the rear axle on the drive car. I took out the old automation disc, which is a round metal disc which is spring loaded. That was causing problems on certain areas of the track, point work. It's shorting out the loco, so remove that because it's the old automation if you don't require it. Before DCC they had that system with the special relays and switches which use a trigger via this little round disc. So, but if you do take this out, you've got to be extremely careful because it's very delicate, this bogie, because it's a floating bogie, which means it goes up and down, spring loaded, it goes left and right, it moves all over the place. Highly specialised piece of bogie that, which is very delicate.